You're going to hear that you can start a car detailing business with $500, but that's just not quite right. And it's also not quite wrong. You can start detailing cars for under $500 in equipment, but you can't start a car detailing business for that. That's the distinction. Now, real quick on who I am, because it matters when a stranger is going to give you business advice on the internet. My name is Chris M. Walker. I've started and built multiple successful businesses from nothing by myself. I'm talking no funding, no cushion, no job to fall back on, just me and a computer. I also run a platform that thousands of local service businesses use to grow. And I'm talking about things like detailing shops, cleaning companies, landscapers, all kinds of trades. So because of that, I get to watch what works and what doesn't. And one other quick note is I don't run and never have run a car detailing business, and I'm not going to pretend that I have. So the numbers in this video come from real detailing business owners and real industry data. And I'll put the sources on the screen so you can check my work to make sure that you know that I'm legit. All right, so we're going to just start right at number one, and that's equipment. You need a way to wash. It seems like it should go without saying, but in my experience in business, anything you think that goes without saying still needs to be said. Pressure washer in the 150 to 500 range will cover what most starting detailers need. You also need a way to vacuum, and a shop vac, $100 to $200 usually works for most people. Then you're going to need a polisher. A dual action polisher runs $150 to $500 depending on how fancy you want to get and where you look and things like that. You're also going to need chemicals like soap, degreaser, interior cleaner, glass cleaner, leather conditioner, tire dressing. Plan on $200 to $300 to start for chemicals. You'll also want some microfiber towels and a starter pack of like $50 to $150. If you're going to go mobile, you also need water. So a water tank and pump setup runs $200 to $600 depending on the capacity and how big of one you want to get and things like that. Add up the lowest end and you're around $800. Add up a serious mobile setup and you're around $2,000. That's the part everyone quotes when they say $500. Number two thing that you're going to need is insurance. This is what separates a hobbyist from a real business. You need, and I'd almost say you must, get liability insurance. That's standard coverage for damage you cause in the course of doing the work. Expect $50 to $100 a month from most carriers, but look what the price is in your area. And for detailing specifically, you also need what's called garage keepers coverage. This covers damage to the customer's car while it's in your care. So the research that I did, most general liability policies don't even include it. So add another $30 to $80 a month for that. And the annual cost for both runs roughly $1,000 to $2,000. So it's not nothing, but it's worth it because people will skip insurance because the monthly cost feels like a hit when you have zero revenue. And then a polisher slips and they burn through the cleaner coat on a customer's car. The paint repair is $3,000 to $10,000 out of pocket. The business is done right there. So I know it feels like a cost that you don't need, but it's worth it. Skipping insurance is the single fastest way to end a detailing business, not only in the first year, but like in the first day if you have a bad day. So that's that. Now, the number three thing that I want you to make sure that you have ready to go is like the legal and the licensing fees and all of that. I know a lot of like business videos will tell you, don't worry about that. Get your customer first.
It's the biggest piece of dog shit.
Just do it. Form an LLC. The cost varies by state. Cheap states like Kentucky are around $40, and expensive states like California, because everything is expensive in California. No offense, my California friends, but there it runs like $800, including the annual minimum tax. You also need to get a federal EIN from the IRS, and the cost for this is zero. Most people end up paying services for this because it's intimidating. Don't. It's literally just a form. Check your city or your county for a business license requirement. Most cities require one. The city that my businesses started in, Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, required one that was based on your revenue. And it was just insane to me. It's one of the reasons I don't live there anymore. Anyhow, the cost is usually $50 to $200 a year. But like I said, some cities charge based on the amount of revenue you make. So be prepared for that one. Now, some states actually require a seller permits if you sell tangible products like ceramic coating, and the cost is usually somewhere between free and $50. What I recommend is using a service like LegalZoom that can set most of this up for you really easily. I'm not affiliated with them or anything like that. It's just what I use when I want to launch a new business because I'm a simple man and I like things to be easy. but plan on between $200 and $700 total for legal and licensing and that stuff in year one. Now, number 4 is marketing. And this is my favorite part because this is what I'm really good at.
Perfect.
For your first, 90 days, marketing costs almost nothing. A simple free Google business profile so that when somebody types detailer near me into their computer or their phone, you actually exist. It's simple, it's free, and that's the first step. The thing about that is that local SEO, search engine optimization, isn't always easy and it may take some time. So if you want to learn more about how to do that, check out my other channel. Also, set up a Facebook page for your business. It's free. It might get shown. It gives people a way to reach you easily. Just do it. It takes a few minutes. It's free. Then what I want you to do is ask everyone you know if they want their car detailed. I'm talking friends, family, coworkers, neighbors, people at your church, people at your gym, everyone. Charge them a fair price and then get referrals. We're going to talk about that in a later video, but for now, ask them to refer other people to you. Your total marketing cost in your first 3 months, close to zero. You don't need a website yet. You don't need ads. You don't need door hangers. All those are going to come later when you have some cash flow from real customers. But for now, use these free methods and just ask everybody you know to get yourself your first deal. So here's the bare minimum mobile setup if you want to go mobile at first, and I suggest that you do. Equipment, around $800. It can be more, it can be less. These are just rough estimates. Insurance for 3 months is around $300. Again, depends on how elaborate it is, where you live, things like that. Same with LLC and licensing, around $300. Again, depending where you are. And then marketing is close to zero. So roughly, let's call it $1,400 to get started. That's the cheapest real start. Not $500, $1,400. If you want a serious starter setup that can actually compete, you're looking at around $2,000 in equipment for a total of roughly $2,600 without a vehicle, give or take. These are estimates. If you need to buy a used vehicle for mobile, add $3,000 to, $8,000, depending on what you want and what you're able to find. A shop-based fixed location startup adds rent, deposit, build out, and signage, unless for some reason you had a rich daddy or you just happen to own a building like that. But if you don't, add $5,000 to $20,000 in initial cost plus $1,500 to $5,000 a month in rent, depending on the market and the other factors that we can't really get into each situational thing here. So that's 3 different paths and 3 very different numbers. But you don't need $10,000 to start a detailing business. You need to be honest about what you're actually building. Yeah, $1,500 and you spend it on the things that matters, like insurance, licensing, and equipment, you can build something real. And that's what I want for you, is to build a real business that can give you a real full-time income, that can give other people income, and can give your customers a great product. And if you have $1,500, and if you spend all of it on equipment and skip the rest, what you have is a garage full of chemicals and no customers. So knowing what it costs is half the battle, like G.I. Joe.
No, I know.
And knowing is half the battle.
G.I. Joe.
If you're too young to get that reference, just pretend like it was funny.
What?
The next video covers how much a car detailing business actually makes, the real income at every stage from solo operator to multi-employee shop. So go check out that video next. It should be on your screen right now.